everyone, welcome back to my channel for another video. I really struggled to make a video this week. A lot of you guys have been making suggestions on certain topics I could talk about in my videos, and I want to talk about certain things like, my experiences at art school and my experience of being an in-house employee at an animation company and stuff like that, but I don't know why, but I don't feel like I'm quite ready to make those videos yet. Maybe because I want to get better at recording audio, and I want to establish myself in the YouTube community a little bit more before I start putting my opinions out there that might be a little controversial, a little, taboo, or anything that might bring on discussions that I'm not really ready to talk about yet. And that's funny because that's all I wanted to do before I started this YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about these things that get talked about. Things like, art block and art theft and copying artists and things like that. Topics that are kind of divided in people's opinions. I guess what I want to do first is to establish who I am as an artist first. So I'm not just coming on here being like, well, you should do this and you should do that. I just want to give a little bit of context before I start delving into the more interesting topics, I guess. What I think I can slowly start talking about is something I've been dealing with a lot this past week, and that's just basically laziness in short. And I say that it's laziness because there's no other way to really explain it. I've been wasting a lot of time just beating myself up lately for not being able to do what I want to do. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I end up just sitting at the desk, staring at the blank page, just trying to come up with what I want to do for the day. And I don't really start really getting into working until late in the afternoon. And by then, I make all kinds of excuses like, I'm hungry now, and dinner's going to be soon, so I'm not going to get too deep into work because that's just gonna throw me off, so I'll just wait until after dinner. And then after dinner, I'm full and I can't work on a full stomach because it's distracting and it's uncomfortable sitting down at the desk. Just all kinds of excuses you can think of. And I tend to do this very often, and it's been especially bad this week. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you will have noticed that I've just been posting a lot of studies lately. And while studies are great, and I recommend that everyone do them if they want to improve certain things like lighting and painting, which is what I've been focusing on lately. Studies are great, but I think I've kind of used them as ways of procrastinating on what I think I should be doing, which is finished personal work that I can put into my portfolio. Studies are easier to do for me because you can kind of tune out and you don't have to think too much because you are referencing off of something. You're not trying to invent everything out of your head. So I've been stuck in this study mode for a while now, this whole past month and end of December, and it's been hard to kind of get out of it. And I've been making every excuse under the sun not to get out of it. One of the excuses is, I don't know what I want to draw. And so I'll do a bunch of sketches, and I'll spend the whole day doing sketches. And I'll come up with a sketch that I think I kind of like. I can see potential in it. But I don't think it's good enough to be turned into a painting. And even when I think the idea is there and I can expand on it, I just don't take the time to really fully flesh it out. And part of that is because I'm not actually too confident in my drawing ability. So I feel like I'm not capable of bringing it to a level where I am happy with it and that I want to spend my time into bringing it into a full-fledged illustration. And because I'm not very confident in my drawing ability, I end up being very, very decisive on every element of the picture. And it just takes me forever to decide what it is that I want to do and how I want the character to be posed and how I want the colors to look. And it just takes me so long to finally decide on all those elements that I never get to start the picture in the first place. And this is what's been holding me back lately, and it's what holds me back a lot of the times. And because of this, it's so easy to get into this study mode that I've been in lately, because it is so much easier. You have something to work from. You're not trying to invent everything. There's a lot of pressure when it comes to doing something from imagination, because you feel that it has to be better than what you did before, and it has to be creative, and it has to be something totally new that no one has ever seen before. So yeah, that's just what I've been dealing with the past week. I hope it's not too depressing or too down for other people to hear. It's just, I thought it'd be interesting to share, because I'm sure other people go through the same thoughts as I do, and I know that it's not a permanent state that I'm gonna be in. I know that once I finally get to do the piece that I have in my head that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it is up to a standard that I see fit, then I know that my mood will be switched like 180 degrees, and I'll be so happy and I'll be back on track. And I know that once I'm out of this like dark cloud, I will look back at it thinking, what was wrong with me? Why couldn't I just sit down, tune all the negativity out of my head and just do the work? And that's how you pull yourself out of this funk, I think. I think that's really the only way, at least for me anyway. And I know that, but it is still hard. It's when you're in the moment, when you're in that dark cloud, it feels impossible, I know. But the solution really is that simple. So I have been making little strides each day to at least do something. And I can happily say that I have been doing at least something. It might be a little study here and there, but at least I'm not going days without doing nothing. I mean, there used to be a period in my life where I would go months, literally months, without picking up a pencil. And I can definitely talk more about that in future videos. But nowadays, I've been able to do at least a little something each day. And for me, that's good enough, because I used to have such a terrible track record. I like to call these little strides, these little efforts into putting yourself closer to what you want to be doing. I call these little victories. And a little victory I had this week was I broke out my oils again, and I finally started painting in oils, which is something that I've been wanting to do for so long, but I've been putting it off for so long because that's just my personality, I guess. I like to really meditate on something before I start doing it. And every time, without fail, once I start doing it, I'm like, what was I so scared of? Why did I wait this long? And I know this is how I feel every time after the fact, but I still feel scared of doing anything. Does anyone else feel like this too? Maybe it's the whole anxiety thing. I don't know. I'm a very anxious person, but it's really starting to wear me down. I am definitely wasting more time thinking about what I want to do and just agonizing over everything and just beating myself up for not doing anything than actually getting things done. I am just wasting so much time. It is so counterproductive. And it's not that I struggle to meet deadlines or anything. I think I thrive on deadlines. Actually, thinking about it now, I think I was definitely more productive when I had a full-time job. And I mean, it's my first few months without having a full-time job, so maybe I just need a little more time to get adjusted to the amount of freedom that I have, and I probably need to get better at scheduling my time, because that is one thing that I definitely don't do very well. I am not a very good planner. I don't like to schedule things because I am so indecisive and I don't know how I want to use my time. So I just end up wasting the time thinking about how I want to use it. It's ridiculous, but that's me, and that's one of those things that I really struggle with as an artist. I'm sure there are some of you guys that can relate. Anyway, I hope I didn't come off too much like a downer, because I don't mean to be, and I know that things will get better and I'm just having an off week. So please don't feel too bad for me. Everything will be okay. I do enough self-pitying on my own as it is, so yeah. I know I didn't talk about the art in the video at all, so I will say something about it now. It is an oil painting on vellum paper, which is kind of like, it feels like parchment paper or tracing paper, but you can apparently paint oils on it, so that's really great for doing quick studies or sketches, because you don't have to prime the surface. You can paint directly on the paper. And hey, at least this is not a study. I did this from my head, so that in and of itself feels like a little victory. And I'm a little bit closer to where I want to be than I was yesterday, so I guess I'll take it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless, and I hope to be back with another video next week, so I will see you then. Bye!